Good evening and welcome to another installment of the New York Minute Sports Show. The Yankees lose to the Marlins, and is this a sign of things to come? I'll explain. It's New York Minute Sports. It's New York Sports for New York Nuts. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's go! Well, there you have it, folks. Welcome to another installment of the New York Minute Sports Show. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Yankees lose 7-6. Game was supposed to start at 1:05. We were playing the waiting game. Supposed to start at 3:10. Then it's supposed to start at 5:10. Finally, the game goes off at 5:10. I know some fans that got to the ballpark today at 11 a.m. Shout out, Ben, to you. Braving the elements out there, and it was a nasty day, and that's why I'm on so late right now. But the New York Yankees lose 7-6 to the Marlins. They're 7-2, 2-1 at home this year, and they're still in first place by 3 games. It's not the end of the world, but we got to talk about some stuff because a good record, and I know this sounds counterproductive, but a good record can be very, very deceiving. Now, the Yankees, for all intents and purposes, are a 7-2 team. Absolutely great. But was tonight a sign of things to come? Was tonight a canary in the coal mine? Because towards the end of the game, it looked like the boys had reservations at an Italian restaurant for a Sunday night sauce, and they were playing like they had their car running outside. Yes, they made it close at the end, and Jazz made it close with his double, and we'll get to him. But as far as the New York Yankees are concerned, I'm seeing these relievers way too much in a game. I've seen Jake Bird in the last 2 weeks more than I've seen a lot of my siblings and best friends. Jake Bird's getting overused. The New York Yankees are running a 4-man rotation, and you've heard me say this, it's good when it's good, but you're walking a tightrope where it could go bad at any moment. Yes, the Yankees do have a bunch of days off in the beginning of the season. That's their thinking behind having a 4-man rotation. But when Aaron Boone only allows guys to go 79 pitches for the first 2 weeks, and then he just can't wait to get into that bullpen, you're going to tax guys out, and you're setting yourself up for the approach. Just like I said a year ago, that Dodger series ruined the Yankees' bullpen leading into the Boone swoon. This is all about the approach to June, guys. We know that the New York Yankees win in the first 2 months of the season all the time. It's when they get to June under Buffoon, wow, that they start to get all squirrely. I got to admit, guys like Hedrick, Jake Bird, they're very good in doses. They're very good when they get light work. But when you start heavy rotation, these guys, that is a really, really bad thing. Not to mention Yarborough comes in the 9th inning in this game. I don't get that. Yarborough is a middle relief guy. I even liked it in the beginning of the season. You could see they were letting their middle relief guys go about 2 innings. After Fried comes out, why not put Yarborough in there immediately? The guy can eat 2 innings, and you can see where it goes. First of all, Yarborough hasn't gotten a lot of work. The most work he's gotten was in the World Baseball Classic, which was 3 weeks ago. So the guy needs reps, and Aaron Boone bends over backwards to get Bednar reps, and now Bednar in his 2 past appearances has 70 pitches. And then I see Duvall warming up in the dugout tonight. Boone, what are you, crazy? Are you trying to ruin Duvall immediately? So the New York Yankees bullpen came a little bit back to earth today, and what made me even more worried is if you look at Luis Gil's last start in AAA, not good. He's back to his old Luis Gil tricks, the 4 walks, bad control, and in his last start in spring training, he was lights out. They should have brought him up immediately. I think in my hearts of heart, after watching baseball for a very long season, Luis Gil is a very temperamental guy. And the fact that they sent him down to AAA, I think it killed his confidence, and I think that he just doesn't want to be down there. And I can see where a player would be coming from that because he should be on a 5-man rotation. There's no reason for a 4-man rotation. You're just trying to outsmart baseball. And teams that always try to outsmart baseball will wind up getting snake bit in the ass at the end. So I think that you should have went Fried and Yarbrough. Now, speaking of Max Fried, Max Fried wasn't the problem. Obviously, Max Fried is not the problem on this team. And he went 102 pitches, which I like to see. His chariot turns into a pumpkin around the 7th inning anyway. We've seen that in his history with the New York Yankees. Usually gets to about 1 to 2 outs in the 7th inning, and then he'll let up a double rope, and then it's like, all right, Max, time to go. But Max Fried hasn't had his grade A stuff all season long, and he's 2-0 with 1 no decision, which was tonight. Another thing to take into consideration with Max Fried is the fact that he was waiting around forever. I don't know how many times he got up and got down in the bullpen getting warmed up for his start today. I would have assumed that he did get warmed up at around noon, then he sat back down and had 4 hours to chill out. But also stopping and starting starters in a rain delay can also be another bad thing. But Aaron Boone kind of backed himself into a corner because he used so many relievers last night and so far in this season that he couldn't really just do a bullpen game and kind of omit it because he had to pitch Max Fried because the approach to the A's series starting on Tuesday in the Bronx, your bullpen might even be depleted with a day off. So Max Fried is still finding himself, so that's a great sign because Max Fried is going to be like the third starter on this team when it comes back because you're going to have 3 aces when Carlos Rodon, Garrett Cole, and Max Fried. So Weathers was worrying me a little bit. And this New York Yankees team, I hope, just isn't coming back down to reality. If you remember 2 years ago when they started with Marcus Stroman and Cookie Carrasco, the New York Yankees actually set pitching records for their franchise, eerily similar to what's going on this year with the bullpen. And baseball is a game of averages. What goes up must come down. And if you're just pitching shutouts every game, you're going to have a blip in the radar. And hopefully that's not all at once. Hopefully guys like Bednar is just going through a little bit of a rough patch. And there has been a little bit of blowback from guys being in the World Baseball Classic because think about it. You're ramping up. I was in the building for Venezuela and Dominican Republic, and that place was electric. And then you go back to April baseball. It's kind of like a little bit of a letdown. Not saying Bednar's not trying or he's not up for the games. It's human nature to get ramped up. And I'll use an example. You go over your nephew's house. They're playing pickup basketball. And they're like, hey, you want to play? And you're like, I'll play, but I'm not going to go nuts. Next thing, 2 minutes later, you turn into Bill Lambier, and you're like, you're diving for balls in the bushes. You can't help it. It's the competitive spirit that's in athletes, and that's what guys do. So they can tell their teams when they go over to the World Baseball Classic, nah, I'm not going to try too hard. Nah, I'm not going to max out. Next thing you know, that Mason Miller's throwing 101, and they're trying to win a chip for the USA. So that gets thrown right out the door. But the bottom half of this batting lineup is the problem once again. Like I said, their record can cover a lot of warts on this team. And just like last year, the bottom half of this lineup is just awful. I mean, Austin Wells, fucking come on. You can't be going 0 for 4 night in and night out, especially when you got a guy like Esquera who came in tonight, who I don't think should have pinch hit. That's silly. The guy's been sitting at the stadium since 9 a.m. He's 0-5 for the year. He only has 5 at-bats on the whole year. Just keep the guys that are already playing in the game. All you needed was a single to score Jazz from second. But Austin Wells, man, you can't have just a guy. Like, they have 2 guys on this team that are there for their defense. This isn't 1981, and we're not the St. Louis Cardinals with Ozzie Smith, okay? We're the Bronx Bombers. Enough of this shit. Boone talks about Esquera being like top 10 Major League Baseball catchers if he were to play every day. So where's it at? Bench Austin Wells and play Esquera. He's a lefty, and he catches well. It's been now 3.5 years with Austin Wells, and I think he's going to break out every single year, and he absolutely disappoints me. He's hitting 167. Then you got McMahon on the hot corner at third base. With a single tonight, he brings his average up to a whopping 0.87. So, yeah, I can get frustrated even with the Yankees being 7-2 because Austin Wells is on the back of a goddamn milk carton. Jazz Chisholm, another guy who hit a double tonight. I was writing out my plan for the show and kind of had to scrap it a little bit, not go too hard in the paint, but fuck it. It's Easter. Jazz Chisholm, get your head out of your ass. Get your head squarely out of your ass. We're 9 games in, dude. You held it down mentally like for 4 games. That interview with Netflix in the first game of the season, you bamboozled me already. I was in Camp Jazz. I was defending your honor on opening day with fans. Yeah, he's going to go. You know how many people went up to me and go, yeah, he's going to go 50-50. Yeah, he's going to go 50-50. I was like, yeah, he might go in 40-40 because, yes, Jazz Chisholm, when he does get on base this year, he is stealing every single time he gets on. But then Jazz shows up, knucklehead Jazz, adjusting your batting glove, running on the diamond, and getting thrown out. And last night with that throw, everybody knows as a second baseman, as a shortstop, or on the hot corner, you attack the ball. It's a little wet. It's a little cold in Yankee Stadium that late at night, and you know it's going to be slippery. So you have to attack that ball, and he was bumbling it. And that's why the guy got safe at first. But this is the mental lapses that we're talking about with Jazz Chisholm. Put the shit aside with him that I had the beef with him last year. And you know what the problem is? That a lot of these guys like Austin Wells and Jazz Chisholm know there's nobody behind them. If Jazz Chisholm goes down, who's going to be our second baseman? We already traded Vivas. So Jazz Chisholm knows the spot's his. He's in a contract year. Maybe that's the reason he's pressing. I know Jazz doesn't like the cold. He's an island boy. I get it. And it's much better to play in the warmth. And that's why I'm surprised Cody Bellinger is off to such a hot start that he's on, because he's another guy that doesn't really play well in the cold. But Jazz, it's cold for everybody, dude. You got more excuses than a pregnant nun. And I'm tired of this shit. You're hitting 194, and that's because you hit a double tonight. So Jazz Chisholm needs to get his shit together. Austin Wells needs to get his shit together, because it's like guys like Caballero, they're going to not really hit a lot, but we want him there for shortstop. You can't have that at 3 different positions: shortstop, third base, and Austin Wells at catcher. You can't have 0 production from it, because guess what? Judge, Belly Baby, and Ben Rice aren't going to bail you out every single night. Ben Rice, unbelievable start to the season. Everything is advertised. Giancarlo Stanton is playing unconscious. Judge is waking up. And Trent Grisham, yeah, he's hitting 172. I'm not a big fan. You know that. But he is drawing walks. He's got the strikeouts down, and he is drawing walks. His job is to get on base in front of Aaron Judge so he can hit 2-run home runs. So he's been good doing that. So I won't get too much on his case. But like I said, Fernando Cruz, a little amped up tonight. 2 strikeouts and a walk. Jake Bird comes in, finally comes back to earth, gets rocked a little bit. But one thing that made me incensed today was I was reading an article about our old friend Jasson Dominguez down in AAA, because I was just checking in on Spencer Jones, Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, all the usual suspects, to see how these guys are doing when they bring them up to the Yankees. But I read a article on yanksgoyard.com about Jasson Dominguez. And I'm going to read this, and I had to stop from crushing my television with my bare hands. You can argue that Jasson Dominguez should have made the New York Yankees opening day roster, but that doesn't change the fact that Dominguez's defense and hitting ability from the right side still needs a lot of work. Absolutely. We all think that, right? When Dominguez was officially sent to AAA to start the season, it felt preordained, as if nothing that Dominguez could do in AAA or spring training was going to help his cause. So what did the Yankees do? They needed to send him down to work on his right-handed hitting. Dominguez will be able to hone his righty bat further by playing every day. Playing every day is what matters most in his development, right? Those sentiments felt good and made sense in the moment. But now Yankee fans are confused. That's because Dominguez isn't playing every day in AAA. In fact, he's been benched on back-to-back days against left-handed pitching. What the fuck are we doing with this guy? This might be the biggest fumbling of the bag of any player in Yankees franchise history. Bro, think about the guys that Montero, Bonsuelos, all those guys, everybody named Peraza that you could swing a dead cat at. Anybody named Oswaldo for the past 6 years has been on the Yankees, and they've given him chance after chance after chance. Did Jasson Dominguez fuck Cashman's wife or something? Like, why do they want this guy to fail? And a bunch of people were asking me on opening day what I thought about Jasson because they know how I feel about Trent. And I was saying to him that Jasson Dominguez is the proof of what happens when you have a used car salesman as Brian Cashman who tries to build up his hitting prospects and sell them for a bill of goods to other teams. And then when we're stuck with them, we actually see what they're worth. Anthony Volpe, Austin Wells, and now you can add Jasson Dominguez to the list. Brian Cashman was calling this dude the alien, the Martian. All right? He looks very pedestrian. He looks very earthly to me. And I think that they're messing this guy up so bad. And now the fact that he's only 23 and you got all the time in the world with this guy. Spencer Jones hit another home run today, by the way. Still got an OPS of 1,000. But the last thing we need is a strikeout machine with nothing but home runs because the Yankees need to make more contact. The Yankees, hey, they set a franchise record with the most walks in a 3-game set in their franchise history, but that's a chicken or the egg discussion right there. Are the Marlins have terrible control, or do the Yankees have a good batting eye? So, you can go either or on that one. So, listen, the New York Yankees, everything's all good right now. But I've been watching the Yankees for a very long time, and I can pick holes through it. If I want to sit here and I want to worry about something, I would worry about the bullpen being used too much by Baboon. I would worry about the bottom half of the lineup because we really don't have a lot of infielder. I think Oswaldo Cabrera should be brought up to this team ASAP. Luis Gil needs to be brought up to this team ASAP to make this into a 5-man rotation because you cannot rely on Weathers. Will Warren might come down to earth. I mean, even though I'm a Will Warren guy, you can't rely on that stuff. You need to have a fail-safe and a fifth-inning guy because even the Yankees tonight had Duvall warming up in the bullpen after waiting around all day and the performances that he's had in his last 2 outings. The Yankees were kind of scrambling for arms at the end of that game. So that's not a good sign. But the Yankees are in first place. They're 3 games in first place. The Blue Jays just got swept by the White Sox. That falls into the category of that's baseball, Susan. But I will be breaking that tomorrow on the AL East Breakdown Show. Blue Jays, Red Sox, Yankees, Orioles, and even the Tampa Bay Rays. I give you a little week wrap-up with a nice little bow on top of it to keep you up to date, and that's what we do right here at New York Minute Sports. New York Sports for New York Nuts. Wanted to get on here, felt a little bit under the weather. Wanted to also wish everybody that's celebrating a happy Easter, and so I don't forget in a week, to all my Greek friends, happy Greek Easter when that happens after Passover, and I just want to send all my love to you guys, and thank you for the support here at New York Minute, and I got a little surprise for you on the AL East report tomorrow. We got big news coming out of New York Minute land, and thanks to you guys, and thanks for growing this. Hey, listen, if you want to help me out, tell people about this show and get them to follow and get on the New York Minute train because it's New York Minute Sports. It's New York Sports for New York Nuts. And if you can't be good, be bad, baby. Good night, Canada. Bye. Hey, yeah.